able to spend, okay, be it cash in hand or cash at bank, is what what's called cash flow management is all about. Don't say because I sold goods to so and so, or because I have 100 what's called students, 10 of them have paid fees, 90 of them have not paid fees. So yes, at least I have money. I still have money outside. No, that money outside that you're here to collect is not your cash. It hasn't what's called been converted into what, into cash yet. Okay, but the ones you've collected is what you are using. Okay, that is what you are banking your business on. Okay, so you can't say because I have 10,000 outside, and yes, I'm banking that 10,000, when that 10,000 comes in, I have money I can use to do for. No. Imagine for that term, you've only collected, let's say 5 million, and you still have 15 million outside. You are meant to plan that entire term or that entire month based on what? That 5 million that has what? That has come in. That is what cash flow. That is cash. That is what you have in that, not your profits, not your sales, and not your what's called your turnover at the end of the day. No. Okay. So it is the workplace of tracking that you track, you analyze, and you optimize the flow of cash in and out of what of your business. Okay. How much cash am I receiving every day? How much cash is going out every day? How much cash is coming in every week? How much cash is going out every week? That's your inflow and your outflow. That's your income and your expenses. Okay. It involves understanding and monitoring the cash inflow. Like I said, that's your revenue, your loans, your investments, and your outflow. That's your expenses, your debt, your investment, and what of your business. Okay. And like I said, cash flow management is crucial for the business financial health. Okay. And sustainability of your business. Without a good cash flow management, your business won't survive. That's just it. Because you can't keep borrowing money. Okay. You can't keep getting loans because you want to what? You want to offset your debt, or you want to service your what's called your creditors. No. So you must work in a way that what you have enough cash. Okay, you've settled your creditors. What's called you've settled, able to pay your staff, you're able to even have savings at the end of that you can fall back on. Now let's see the benefits. What do you stand to enjoy with a good cash flow management? Number one is what is improved decision making. Yeah, because effective cash flow management will give you that accurate and up-to-date information on the financial position of your business. Okay. Now, let's assume that you're the type that keeps your account at the end of the month. That is wrong. Why? Because you've already spent so much. Okay. At the end of the day, or at the end of the month, if you sit down and let me calculate how much also has come in and how much has gone out. At the end of the day, you realize that probably you've made a mistake in one of the weeks. You've overspent, or you've done what you spent what you should have spent money on, and you realize that, oh, my cash that I have at the end of that month would not take me for the next month. Remember that every month you must have something that will take you for the next next month. So what you do is what? Every day you sit down and check. If I school, for example, you have your account, you have what you call your budget. At the end of every year or every school year, you prepare your budget. Yeah, your budget is what shows you your planned income and your planned expenses, right? So you prepare your budget and say, okay, how much am I expecting at the end of this for this entire term? How much am I expecting to spend for this entire entire term or entire session? Okay, as the case may be. Then you look at it and say, okay, if I'm expecting this, you know your past record already, you know when those fees come in, you know when those what you buy, you know how much you spend on your operations every week or every day. You have that in place and say every day you check and say, okay, how much is that? How much came in today? How much fees was paid today? You check how much fees came in and how much am I supposed to spend today, or how much did I spend today? You check and say, okay, with what came in today and what I spent today, will it carry me for the next day? Okay, or do I need to push further and get more fees to come in the next day? Okay, that is why I said well, it improves your decision making process. But you can say, okay, if I have only at the end of week one, I only have like let's say I have 1 million in my account, and week two, based on my budget, based on my operations, we're expected to spend probably 600,000 on operations. That's running your day-to-day activity. That's buying your fuel, filling your generator, filling your board, buying airtime, and all those ones. And you take out 600,000 from 1 million, you know you're left with 400,000. Will that 400,000 take you for that week? Is it advisable for you to go ahead with that 600,000 you plan to spend? Okay, or is it advisable for you to just leave that 1 million, or you push further to get more funds to come in? Okay, let's imagine, because there are other unforeseen circumstances. Let's say out of the blue, something just happened in your workplace. You need to probably change your generator, for example, or probably change your small gen, and that will cost you nothing less than probably 300 or 400, depending on the size. Okay, I've already planned and say, okay, out of this 1 million, I'm going to spend on operations without this missing, what's called this unplanned expenses. Okay, so that I'm saying that it helps what to improve your decision making process. Can say, okay, will this work for me, or it won't work for me for that week? Should I embark on these expenses for this week or not embark on it? Okay, that's why I said every day you check what comes in and what goes out. Okay, don't wait till the end of the week and say, oh, based on what came on Monday, Tuesday, when you now add them together and see, okay, where are we at the end of the week? No, effective cash flow management involves was you checking your account every day and say, okay, how much cash do I have? Not like I said when we started, not how much what's called you have with your debt, what's called with those that owe you money, or how much money you have outside. No, it involves what has come in, okay, either in cash or in your bank. Okay. Number two, it helps for better cash reserves. Yeah. So by analyzing your cash flow, that's your inflow and your outflow. Like I said, inflow involves what comes in. Okay, and like I said initially when we started, I said your inflow must always be more than what your outflow. So for a school, for example, you can't just base your what's called your financial power or strength on just your tuition fees only. No. Okay, every school should have more than one profit centers. We call it profit centers and cost centers. Profit centers are what gives you money. That's where the money is coming from. Cost centers are what takes out what takes away the money. That, for example, your operations, your salaries, your wages, and all. Okay, so like I said, don't just bank on only your tuition. Your tuition is what's called that your school fees itself, not your enrichment fees, not your bus fees, not your lunch fees, not your probably after school care fees or any other fees you collect. So that's why I mentioned that a budget is very, very important. You can't start your school year or your academic year without having a budget, a planned what's called inflow and outflow of how, or a planned what's called template of how you want to spend your money or how you want your money to come in. Okay, so you analyze your cash inflow and your outflow. With that, it ensures that there's adequate cash reserve to cover expenses and unexpected situations. Like when the overall increment happened where I work. So what we normally do is when we're planning our budget, we always add what we call a markup. There's always a markup to your budget. Okay, to especially on your expenses, because you know how it is. You're dealing with we all know that not even in Nigeria, it's just a normal thing that if you are dealing with cash, if you're having a business and involves buying, selling, or offering service or anything, you always have to add a markup. But you never can tell what the market would say tomorrow. Okay. So I think you only plan your, let's say every day you buy for of 10,000 per day. And you say, okay, because last time we've been buying for 10,000, so this time as well, let's just have that 10,000 on budget. No, that is wrong. Okay, you add the markup and say, okay, what if there's inflation, for example? What if there's a sudden change in policy from the government and say, okay, fuel is not, or diesel, for example, is not 700 per liter anymore. It is now 850 per liter. What will you do? Okay, so in your, what's it called? Your expenses for every also expense items you have, you always need to add a markup, be it 10%, be it 15%. Always add it to it. At the end of the day, or at the end of the year, or at the end of the term, if you don't spend that, it's still what comes back to you as profit. So don't say, how will I add markup to the and I check my profit, or maybe my assumed profit is small or is low. No, don't work with that. Remember that you always work with the fact that even though I'm adding this markup, even though I have this much expenses, the goal is not for me to spend the actual amount. Okay, I must always try to spend lower than what I have. you get lower than what I have planned. So let's say you plan to buy fuel of let's say for your gen or for the week, you plan to buy fuel of 20,000. You can still work towards to buy less than that. Okay, you can still stop and say, okay, where can we cut down this expenses? Where can I cut down this fuel consumption so that at the end of the day, I'm not spending this 20,000, I'm not spending probably 18,000, or even if it's 90,500 you spend. 500 is still something. Okay, so now imagine, okay, you didn't plan for, you didn't add markup to your what's called to your fuel or to every other thing, and the whole subsidy just came up like that. What will you do? You start to panic and say, okay, what can I do? Should I go and borrow from this? Or should we call their parents that fees has increased? Or should we not do boss on anymore? Or should we not turn on our agenda against also for the day and just buy a chargeable fan? Or what should we do? Or should we not turn on this gen anymore? Or that you get what? Confused, but what?
Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you now.
But better cash reserves. But better cash what's called reserves would what would how do I put it? When you analyze your inflow and your outflow, yes, like I said, it ensures that you have adequate reserves, yeah, to cover expenses and unexpected what situation. That's what a good cash management does. That's why I said don't wait till the end of what of the month, okay, or the end of the week. You do it every day, yeah. The other one is it reduces reliance on external financing. Like I said, you don't have to get a loan. Yeah, if you adequately plan for your cash flow, if you adequately manage your cash flow, you have no choice borrowing what money. Okay. So I always like working based on what on like giving example, like where I work, for example. I can't even remember the last time we took a loan. I don't even think we've ever taken a loan before. You get, because we have what adequate cash flow management. Another thing is if you are planning your inflow as well. So let's say this time you have what's called maybe this time your student population is 200. When you are planning your cash flow or your budget or your expenses, your financial what's called structure for the next term, you don't plan based on that 200. Even though you know that, oh yes, I have good marketing skills, oh I have high retention rates, definitely word of mouth is excellent, is wonderful. People will tell our parents will tell that parent that they register. No, don't plan based on what on 200. Your expenses increases here with markup, but your inflow would not increase. So if I have 200, don't say last day I'm expecting like 210 students now. So let me plan not 210. No, always plan what less. You can try to take plan for five, what's called reduce your number of students by 5 or by 10 and plan based on maybe 190 or 195. Okay, or 180. What I usually do in where I work is we always take out 10 students. Okay, so we know that bad as the bad though, even if those 10 should leave, we are still what good. We are still in a good place. Do you get my point? So you plan based on that. Okay, so you plan based on that, and let's imagine you now plan based on 210, and at the end of the new session, so many japa happened. 20 students left your school and went to Canada, to USA, or to Australia, and you've already planned based on what on 210, you plan your expenses based on that. What will happen? You'll be forced to what to take a loan, to look externally for what for financing, which is what is wrong. Do you get? So proactive cash flow management reduces the need for external financing, such as loans or reducing interest costs and improving what profitability. Do you get my point? So you need to what? You need to. I can't say, because I need to also be profitable. I have to what reduce my services or the quality of what of services I offer. No, because I want to maximize my profit. Because I've already messed up my budget. I've already planned the way I should not have planned, and now I'm stuck. I need to what to what's called to reduce quality that can get what improve profitability. No. Okay. Another one is what it ensures that what your business is stable. Okay, day in, day out, week in, week out, time in, time out. your business is what is stable financially. You're able to pay your staff when you're supposed to pay them. You're able to acquire new assets when you're supposed to acquire new assets. You're able to plan for expansion when you're supposed to plan for expansion. You are just stable. Okay. Why? What will ensure this stability? Number one, there's no external loan. Yeah. Number two, you're not reducing your the cost of your services because you want to what, maximize profits. Do you get my point? And what's got number three, you're not panicking because yeah, I didn't plan for the increment. Oh, I didn't plan for this one. Now let me even when we did our project, we already planned for the next year already. We've done our budgeting, we've done our what's called our proposed income and what's called expenses statement for the next year. And what did I do? Even though I know that yes, as at when we ended the term, fuel was still 500, we used 700 as cost of fuel per liter because we know. You might get there, you might not get 700. But you've already planned it what with 700. Okay, even if it's 700. And we know that the way the economy is going, there's going to be lots of parents trying to leave the country, lots of people trying to leave the country and all. We already was reduced our student number and say, okay, what if we don't have this population next year? Okay, and fuel has gone to 700. Diesel, as at before we ended the I think was 750. We plan based on what? On 850. That okay, if fuel should go up, definitely there's possibility that diesel will also what? Go up. We've planned that already and it's okay. With this fuel increment, with this diesel cost, are we still in a good place? Now with that, we know that okay, this is what we are likely to get. With our do we have is our account in red? If our account is in red, so okay, what happens? It now gives you that room to say, okay, where do I need to improve? Definitely I need to what improve more, I to have more inflow. That's more profit centers. Okay, right now we only have let's say you have bus on launch, what's it called, and enrichment. What else can you add? Because you can't reduce the quality of service you offer. You can't say because there's what's called a fraud increment. Oh, so instead of me having what's called a qualified teacher in a class, and let me go and look for a school start holder. Just put in that class. That start holder going to be paid 10,000 and that is fine. You wish to teach. No, if you reduce what your quality of service, your business will not be what is stable anymore. Okay, you plan that and say, okay, with this, what could I do? I need to increase what my staff salary. Definitely, because it's, it's a no-brainer. You have to increase what your staff salary. You plan for all that and say, okay, with this, where am I? Okay, now a normal day, if everything goes well, I'm supposed to make 1 million at the end of the term. But right now, probably it's just 20,000. I'm seen as my what? As my what's called assumed profit at the end of the term. Okay, what do I do? So let me improve my marketing strategy. Okay, it gives other admin departments a good insight or foresight to say, okay, what do we need to do now to improve our profits? Okay, add more profit centers, get more students in, increase your marketing strategy. What's it called? Do you need to also collaborate with other schools and say, okay, can we share this facility and can we do that? It gives you that insight. It ensures that what your business is what is growing and it is stable. Okay. With that, move into the what are the key components? What makes up your cash flow? We're talking cash flow, and I've mentioned some of those things that makes up your cash flow, yeah. Basically, your cash inflow. Like I said, your cash inflow are the revenue from sales, yeah. So if you're a business owner, you sell bags or you sell shoes, those your inflow is what the sales or the revenue made from your sales, yeah. Your loans, yeah, definitely is your inflow. Yeah, to get a loan from people, in as much as its influence also was asked because definitely you are supposed to pay back your loan. That's why I always say work in a way that you won't have to want to get a loan. Okay, because there's definitely going to be interest on that loan and it's going to bite hard on you. Do you get? So work in a way that you don't make your inflow based on what? On loans. Yeah, loans should not be part of your inflow. Yeah, investment, oh, wonderful. And any other source of what of cash into the business. Yeah. So for a school, for example, like I said, your tuition is your what's called is your main source of source of income, yeah, or source of inflow. Work to have more profit for centers. It is important. Okay, it is very, very important. And another thing is if you have more, let's say let's look at enrichment, for example. Yeah. So another way you can manage us, another strategy you can use to manage your cash flow is what is developing what your human capital. So for example, let's say you're doing enrichment here in your school, you're offering enrichment in your school, and you know that oh, there's this staff that can do let's say that you can do art and craft. Why not talk to that staff and say, okay, fine, you can do art and craft. Rather than me outsourcing this art and craft to an external body that will charge me, let's say maybe 50,000 per child, I can work with you, my staff can work with you. Can do this, okay, I'll give you 20,000 to 5,000 per child to get. And you know how much you're going to charge your parents. That is another good way. Don't just say, oh, because oh yeah, these people they are perfect, they've been in business for the past 20 years, 30 years. So I know them. No. Right now it's all about what strategy, how where you can maximize your income, okay, or your cash flow. Okay. Human capital development is very important. Look at that and say, okay, what else can we do in our business that can give us more money? Your cash outflow, that includes your expenses, yeah. You have your expenses, like I said, staff salary, you have operations, with operations, you have maintenance, you have repairs, you have taxes and levies, you have duties that you pay to government, to local government, and all those things. Those are your expenses, yeah. Loan payment and end of that cash going out of your business, okay. Then you have what your cash flow forecasting. So you are predicting and planning for future cash inflow and outflow. Like I said, it's just like budgeting. You already budgeting and say, okay, day one, how much am I expecting in day one? Day two, how much am I expecting? Week two, how much am I expecting? You plan and you work with your accountant and say, okay, or with your what's called your uh, um, admin officer. We need to get as at least 65% of what of fees. That 65% of fees, you now break it down into what into weekly and say, okay, if I'm expecting 65% of fees for this month, for example, month of January or month of September, at least every week I should get like probably like 20% of what of each fees or 15% of each fees should come in every week. With this, we are fine for what? For September, October, and even what? November. Do you get so you work on so okay, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, guys, we've not even seen up to 3% of what of fees. I'm expecting 15% of fees to come in for that week. Can start saying, start talking and say, okay, we need to improve what our collection was rate because we need this 50% to come so that we can manage the week and the following week effectively. So you get my point. Then also it also allows you to monitor and analyze and say, okay, where am I spending so much? Okay, or what is happening? What where do I need more? Do I need more staff? Or do I need more students, sorry, in a class? Or do I need to reduce my expenses? Okay, your admin officer has come to you and say, guys, I say this boss, so we have to change this boss next year. Ticket. With your cash flow, you can plan and say, okay, if I'm changing my boss next year, what do you need to what to do? Okay, where do you need to take out what monies what from? Like I said, you're not planning for what? You're not getting a loan. You can finance anything you want to finance what with whatever is coming in to your what your business. Do you get my point? Also there's this school I used to not me only we consult for. What for this? Before we ended the term, not ended the session, they said, oh, that they need the what's called a new boss. They'd like to buy a new. They've been saying it like since the beginning of second, and they need to buy a new boss. And we effectively were planned their cash flow, planned their accounting, and say, okay, yes, at the end of the term, you guys should be able to us. At the end of the session, you guys should be able to afford what this new boss. I mean, not a new boss, but at least a Tokumbo boss of 10 million plus and above. And then you're able to buy it, and they are still in what in a good place. Why? Because what they've adequately managed their cash flow. So you get over time, they've been able to what to save. Okay, they never had cost what to go get a loan from a bank because they want to buy a bus. They never had to go afterwards go make their PTA committee and say, PTA, please allow our parents we want to buy a bus. No, they were able to finance it what with what they have. Imagine this new economy. At least you're still able to buy to buy a bus of 10 million plus. That is what effective cash flow management does for what for you. You planned, you forecasted, you've analyzed, you've tracked and say, okay, From year to year, you can achieve what? This. And you work based on what? On that. Okay. Cash flow, effective cash flow management, what, like I said, it reduces all those wastages. You get it reduces all those wastages, all those what's called they say we need to do a very elaborate end of year party. Oh, we need to do so. You sit down and say, okay, can we afford it? That's always the question. Can we afford it? Okay. You can afford it and you know that it won't affect your salary at the end of the term. It won't affect the growth of your business. You need to expand. It won't affect your expansion. It won't affect you getting the assets or the class materials that are needed for you to give that person of work. It's fine. But if you know that, oh no, this will affect it, then there's no point. Okay, that's what it does. That's what I said. What it helps you to what regularly try analyze your pattern to identify potential issues, yeah, and opportunities for what for improvement. You can say, wait, oh, day one, we are spending so much on fuel. What's going on? Last week, we didn't do so much on fuel. What's happening? Oh, we are doing so much on the gen. What's going on? Is the gen probably getting old? Or there's something wrong with the gen, you can plan and say, okay, with this, we are planning to what to renew or to buy a new gen. You can put that what into your plan and say, okay, you can buy we're not be able to afford a new gen now because maybe our savings is not up to that. And if you take our money from what we have, we're not be able to survive for the thing. And you plan that into what your next term and say, okay, if I'm buying a new gen, let's say for in third term and I'm in second term I can start to put some money aside. Okay, and so probably every term or every month, I take out probably 500,000 or 200,000, put that aside, and in third term. So by the end of third term, we have what we have to buy what gen. Okay, optimization strategy. It helps what's implementing measures to optimize cash flow. That's such as reducing cost, improving collection process, and managing inventory what effectively. Yeah. One other thing, another thing that affects your cash flow is inventory. So you get so you are buying so much. You plan to buy what was it called? One thing is if at the beginning of the term, it's always advisable for you to buy in bulk. Just go to the market, have your supply list, what you plan to buy, budget it, go to the wholesalers, don't go to the retailers, go to the wholesalers and buy from them, buy in bulk and put in your store. Every day, whatever comes in or whatever goes out, you are keeping track of them. That way you are saving more rather than you saying, okay, this week we need pen, you go and buy 5 pens this week. And next week we need erasers, you go and buy 3 erasers. And next week we need A4 paper, you go and buy 4 paper. No, that is what wasted. At the end of the day, you are spending more. You don't know it. But I feel like, I just 5,000 this week now, I just 7,000 next week now. No. At the end of the day, if you calculate all that, you've spent more than okay. As they say it, there's no for you going on Jumia and say, I'm a fancy school, I'm to school. Oh, let me go on Jumia, or let me go on all this online store and order for erasers, order for pens, order for this. Oh, they will deliver to my doorstep. Oh, that gives me that web. Oh, they will say, no. Okay, you have a store manager or also a storekeeper or someone in charge of procurement. Let them go to the open market. Okay, they go to Mushin, they go to inside Ikeja, they go all those places to get what these materials from what from the wholesalers. At the end of the day, you realize that you are spending less because you are buying directly from what from the wholesaler. Do you get? There's I think I've gone to some schools and I've seen how they procure their items or their supply. Every week there's always a position that was called form. Oh, we need to buy 5 carton of pencil. Oh, we need to buy five pack of A4. Why? And with that, you can't. If you buy in bulk, yeah, you can manage it. You can keep track of what of how they are using it. So you bought 10 cartons of A4 paper. You can say, okay, guys, I've bought 10 cartons of A4 paper. This is how we're going to use it. Printing work, this is how we're not just going to be printing out any. No. Okay, but every day if you are coming and say, okay, because the way your structure is, oh, you come every week, or I need 5,000 of it for a pack. Well, they know that yes, because we do that every week, they can decide to use that for a pack anyhow. Because next week they will come again and say, we need 5,000 of it for a pack, or we need 5,000 of it for a pack. No. Okay, so buy in bulk is very, very what good. It's advisable to always buy what in bulk. Even your lunch, if you are doing your lunch, for example, if you know you're not outsourcing your lunch and you have in-house what's called caterer, for example, at the beginning of the term, you have a list of what of the non-perishable items. Yeah, you buy them in bulk as well. Go to the market, go to my what's called Ilepo, go to my tube. Is it my tube? I can't remember. Go there, buy in what in bulk, okay, and store, put in your store. Rather than this week your cook will come and say, I want to buy rice and 5 kg of rice. Next week I want to buy. No, okay. The things that should be bought like weekly should be those probably like egg, or maybe you need what's called the meme leaf, or you need those things. These are the ones that should be bought like weekly. But every other thing here, you need to buy them and store them. That way you're managing what your cash flow, you're not spending so much. Yeah. So like I said, the key components, we talk about inflow, we talk about outflow, we talk about forecasting, that you predict and plan for the future. We also talk about monitoring and analysis. We monitor and analyze and see where issues are coming in from. Why am I not making profit at the end of the day? Okay, what do I need to do? Where is the leak coming from? Able to plug what that leak? Yeah. We've talked about optimization strategy. How do you optimize your operation there, your financial health? That's what I've talked about. You're going to go market, you're getting more profit centers, and all. Yeah. Then we look at the common cash flow challenges. Okay. One is insufficient cash reserves. What are those challenges that you face when you're managing your cash flow? Insufficient cash flow reserves, yeah. Inadequate cash reserves can lead to cash flow problems. That's not an unexpected period or period of low revenue. Okay, you the time that don't worry, Charlie, just spend it. No. Like I said, your cash flow is what you have as cash. Okay, and you're not looking at the what's called you're looking at what is still outside. No. Okay. Now imagine that, like I said, during that first casting period, you didn't plan adequately. There's no reserve. There's no what's called your books are in the red, and how would you have survived? Yeah, that can lead to what, to cash flow problems when you need to start what getting a loan from what's called from external sources, or trying to reduce your services, the quality of your services, because you want to what, to maximize profit. Yeah. Inefficient collection process. Yeah. That inefficient invoicing and collection process can delay cash inflow and impact overall cash outflow, or overall cash flow, for example. Yeah. So, like I said at the beginning, your budget, like that's why I keep referencing budget, is important, because your budget will help you. There's always a budget of how much, or the percentage of what, of fees that should come in every month. So you have that for the term. Yeah. For the term, definitely you want 100% for the term. Now you are breaking that down into what? Into monthly. So let's say school starts in September. In September, majority of the fees, or whatever money, whatever thing you are doing, should come in. Checking my point. So that way you can say, okay, based on my past record, based on past data, we always do 70% in September. Work with 80% and say, okay, even if I don't get 80%, at least I'm getting 70%. Taking my point. And you plan the month of September and October based on, because that's like the bulk of your collection. You plan the term based on what? On that 70% of fees that you're expecting for the term. And say, okay, this 70% is what I'm going to use to pay my salary for September, for October, for November. December can now fall under what? The 30 what? Percent that is left. And then that I want to do can now fall under 30% that is what that is left. Do you get my point? And how would that work? Your collection rate of processing must be improved. okay, must be efficient. Because this parents are my friends. We don't like we all know many tools online I can leverage on, yeah, that can send your invoice and give that constant reminder to parents to remind them that, oh, your fees is due and so date, your fees is due and so date, if you know that maybe you are the type that find it difficult to call because of maybe you are too emotional. So let me give you an example of how better fees. Like I said, it's different for other schools. Yeah, you have your fees question policy, it's different. But what we do is at the end of the term, before we always send our invoices like let's say we are going to a new session, yeah, we send our invoice as early as June ending or first week of July at the latest, first week of July. Invoices for the new session has gone out already. You get? Why is that? Because it gives the parents adequate time to what to plan. Because it is clear in our policy that okay, 2 weeks into resumption, all fees must be paid. You get? So that if you send the invoice as early as July, for example, they have July and August what to plan. Okay. And like I said, you need what 70% of that fees to come in before the end of the month. So that way they can plan quickly even before school is on. They know that it's 2 weeks into resumption, they pay. Once it's that 2 weeks into it, 2 weeks, all that 2 weeks elapsed, what we do is what? Or before it elapsed, we send them a message and say, okay, fees is due. Remember our policy, okay. We do that. And at half time again, before like probably a week or a week plus before half time, we send the message again and say, okay, fees is due half time. Sorry, your child might not probably what's called subscribers will be what's called one better to your child, but then come back from half time and all that. By then, half time is what? It's just I think maybe 2 weeks. Uh, like after okay, so that's 7th week, right? So we've done 4 months. We've done September and part of what of October. But before that September, you've already collected what majority of the fees because of you sent your invoices earlier. The remaining fees is what you are planning, what you are fighting to, what you are trying to collect by half time. So that by half time, let's say okay, your plan is that you collect 70% already. 10% is what you want to what you plan to collect by half time. That 10%, oh, we fight. You know, maybe 50% will enter by half time. By the second half of the term, you start fighting again for. So you give another 2 weeks break and or 2 weeks grace period and so okay. By that 2 weeks, so that's like 9 weeks going into 10th or 11th, you can so probably 13th week or 12th week as the case may be. By then, you know that yes, you've already was collected at least 90% of what of your fees. And your budget as well, when you're planning your budget, always plan for what for bad debt is the no-brainer. Plan for what for bad debt because you see that parent or see one few parents that would not still pay at the end of what at the end of the term. That is what bad debt. Even though I don't have the debt into next term, but my debt is already because you're working based on what on a also financial year like sorry 3 months or 4 months excuse me be 3 months or 4 months it depends on how you do it here. By then if money is not what relevant anymore, it has become what a bad debt for that term. Okay, and what you planned for already because you already planned probably plan based on that money. Okay, let's say you didn't put bad debt, you didn't add budget to your budget. You've already planned based on that money and say at least this money coming and that money is not coming, what happens to your account? Or what happens then? You've what's called your cash flow will be messed up, or you start saying, okay, where can I pull in money from so I can use to cover what these lapses? Do you get my point? So you plan for bad debt and say, okay, based on past expense, I know that okay, maybe I can do 5% of my fees as bad debt. I'm going to work that and that 5% doesn't end up as bad debt, but just plan 5% for what? For bad debt. Do you get my point? So you go. So at the end of that term, you've collected let's say 95 or 98% of what of your fees. The remaining 2% is already what you plan as bad debt. So you are still in what? Your budget is still in what? In surplus if you at the end of the day. Do you get? So inefficient collection process can what? Can hamper effective cash flow what? Management. Yeah. Um, we also look at seasonal fluctuations. You know that one. Today they will tell you that paper A4 paper is now at 4,000. Tomorrow you go to market and yes, it's at 1,100 though, it's at 2,500 though. Or with that seasonal what fluctuation, it affects your cash flow. Definitely. No matter how you adequately plan for your that even though there are times when you add markup, yeah, and at the end of the day, that markup will not still cover for what you plan to buy to what to those fluctuations. Yeah, and we all know. Let's be realistic in Nigeria. Once dollar starts to go up, or once there's change in price of dollar and it goes up, definitely even as little as tomato, they'll tell you that dollar has gone up. You get so it affects everything, and nothing in Nigeria is what goes up, especially when it comes to prices, it hardly comes down. Do you get my point? So now let's imagine that I planned like that subsidy thing that happened. Yeah. Even though before the subsidy we knew that okay, they've been saying that subsidy they will take out subsidy, this one, that one, that one, that one. But then they said I think they said end of July or end of June. I can't remember then. And they never gave you like there was no clear indication of what the price would be then. Then fuel was 180, if I'm not mistaken. Highest that you do at the beginning of the term is to add what? Is to plan for 250. That's it. Worst come to worst. Fuel will be like 250 or 300. Do you get my point? And it so happened that it took away the subsidy. You have to fall back on what? On your markup that you planned. Did it cover? No. You have to look, okay, where can I put in what extra cash so that I can cover up this many what 300 or 200 increment I didn't plan for. Because that's why I said that at times when your markup self will not cover for it, and you still have to. Okay. So it also may expense variation in cash flow throughout what the year. Okay, so late payment is still part of what inefficient collection. So, like I said, late payment, what is supposed to come for that and not coming? You're waiting till next time. Would that cover for what you want to do? No. The value of that money when it comes in next time is not the same as it's coming in that time. Think about my point. So let's say you plan to use that portion of the money to buy, and let's say to buy playground equipment. And based on market value price, then market playground equipment should be like probably like maybe 200,000 per item or something. And that fee is not coming, and it comes in the next time. And let's imagine you've taken out money from your reserve to buy that playground equipment. The money coming in next time, the playground equipment then will it still be 200,000? No, 7,550,000. Yeah. So the money, the value has what's called change. Okay. So the late payment can disrupt cash flow and affect the ability to cover expenses or invest in growth. Okay, my point. Yeah. So overdue debt, what's called that like I said, plan for bad debt is also one of the things that causes for cash flow crisis or challenges. Unrecovered debt can negatively impact cash flow and require additional resources for recovery. Okay. Now imagine you are back. Okay, you didn't collect your debt. You are able to recover for debt for that time. Next time, what will you do? You have to start sending messages to the parents, or if you're a business owner, you need to start looking for, okay, how can I recover my debt? You probably hire debt recovery agents, or what was it called, or look for tools, or sending messages that are not supposed to even send. As no matter how it's even if it's WhatsApp message you are sending, it's still your data you are using. So you are still spending money to recover that money, isn't it? That's additional what? Resources. And you're spending to recover that money. That's why I said what? It is important for you to have a good collection rate. Okay? Have a good collection rate. Yeah. So we move on to what are the best practices for cash flow management. What strategy should you employ? What practices should you put in place for a good cash flow management? So at the end of the term, you know that yes, I have enough cash. I'm liquid. Okay. Number one is control your expenses and reduce cost. I don't think there's any where you go to ask for financial advice. Even personally, as not even business wise, personally, like your own personal finance, they will tell you is what your expenses, control what your expenses and reduce what your cost. Like I said, you can't be that I want to buy this one, I want to do. Your facility manager or whoever cannot come to you every day and say, "Bob, don't blow, pump machine don't bad," or your driver cannot come to you and say, "Oh, shaft remove today, shaft remove tomorrow." You get it's what to control your expenses. Like I said, your outflow should not be more than your inflow. Even if you have so many profit centers, your outflow should not be more than what your inflow. Okay. Review your expenses, okay, and always find opportunities to reduce cost without compromising quality. That's what I said initially. Don't say because you want to maintain profit, you now say them go hire school start holder, okay, or what's it called? If I'm selling zobo, let me add 1 keg of water to just a cup of zobo so that my zobo will be much. And you all know that it's Nigeria now. And my love for no, don't do that. Okay. Number two is what? Monitor and manage your inventory levels. I said it. Have a storekeeper, yeah. Have a store where you buy your classroom supplies, your office supplies in bulk and store in there. And every day, so for us here, we have this registration sheet. We give them every week. Every week, each class will come and get that form. They fill what they want to use for the next week. Okay. And we look at it and say, okay, wait, last week you collected 10 pencils. This week again, you just come and collect another 5 pencils. Okay, what happened to those 10 pencils? They should be able to answer for it and say, it broke. How did it break? Okay, your staff should have that maintenance culture. You get, they can't just be using things anyhow. Taking my point, you can't say, it broke now. They're also teaching the children to have that maintenance culture as well, yeah? To have that sense of responsibility. Checking my point. So if your teacher is not responsible for what they have in their care, how would the student to be responsible for what they have in their care? Taking my point. So then to what we need to remind that inventory. So you have all those shit and you have to check in. Okay, as going to, as so and so, this material that we have might not carry us to what's the end of the term. Okay, should we start to ration it? Should we start to minimize it, or should we go and buy on that one? It is important to have that inventory. Okay, avoid excessive inventory holdings and optimize the balance between supply and the demand. Yeah. Also maintain a cash flow forecast. Yeah. Anticipate future cash inflows and outflows. Like I said, that's just budgeting already. And say, okay, what to come in and what to go out. Okay, I'm reducing my sales, yeah, or my number of students as the case may be. I'm adding markup to my outflow so that I can cover and balance. Okay, to identify what potential issues and plan accordingly. Can say, okay, if I reduce this, okay, how much do I even need to run? If I have this one, if I continue this part, issues will come up. I might not be able to even pay salary in November. If I'm giving too much discount to everyone that comes, give us discount now. Because I need the student, let me give discount. Remember, it is not in the number of students you have, but in the money that comes in. If you say, because I want 100 students, and you're giving discount anyhow, 50% discount, 40% discount, you are giving a CEO scholarship. You are giving a owner of school scholarship, just pay 10,000 naira. It is not in the number. That was what will bring up issues. Yeah. The other thing is was streamline invoicing and payment processes. Okay. So, like I said, there are tools online I can use to get your to know your invoice. So your invoice, as the invoice is coming in, or you prepare invoice, is sending your invoice for you, is reminding the payments. As they are paying through that tool or through that invoice, and it's recording. It's letting you know how much balance is left, and it's also alerting the payment or your customers that this is how much balance they have left. Because there are times when you might be doing and let's say you're doing the manual one, and you just probably in a way miss it. You won't know that okay, the payment is still owing. You get my point? Or maybe there's something that needs to come in and you forget totally. You get my point? That's why you have to streamline your invoicing. As it's coming in, you are recording it. Okay, you're not waiting till end of the term or end of the week to now start recording and say, let me check how much things are coming this week. Let me start recording. Relationship you are supposed to build with your suppliers, yeah. Okay, and they give you very good times to make things easy for you. Okay, I think that is all. Yeah, thank you for your time and attention. You have any question? So let me just quickly run through the tools. The tools you can use, yeah. You can use your Excel, you can use your spreadsheets. There are so many tools online I can use. There's invoicing, there's cash flow, money, there's cash flow, inventory. There are so many tools you can use. Yeah, I'll compile a list, both paid and free, and send them to the group. Then you can choose anyone you want for your cash flow management. But if you are the type that you want to stick to what you know, Excel is better. Like Excel or Google spreadsheet is just the best for you. Okay, it is free, it's easy to understand, and easy to use, and that is like the most important thing. Okay, yeah, because most of those tools at the end of the day they also tell you to pay one fee or the other for you to get this particular what's called services or to get this particular thing. Okay, but Excel can work for you. Excel can also prepare your invoice and send on your behalf. Yeah, you don't even need to send the invoice. So just prepare the invoice and it will automatically send the mail or the invoice to your parents' mail or your customer's mail. Okay, yeah. If you need help with that, you can also reach out to the group with them. We'll help you with that. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So we have a few questions in the chat box. The first question is from Debbie. She says, is there a school budget template you can share so a new school can adopt or memorize?
Yes, I will drop that on the group, yeah?
Okay, so that will be on the WhatsApp group. Please, let's just look out for it. Yes, then the second question says, are there tools or app? I think you've answered this one. They said, are there tools or app we can use for budgets, planning, and cash flow? I think you've answered this, so we can go to the next question. The next question says, please, sir, can you draw out an individual budget for different sessions of expenditures based on percentage in terms of housing, transporting, etc.?
Yes, the template I will send would have that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Then the last question says, can you recommend a tool? I don't know if this answered, but I think so. Can you recommend a tool for reminder/fees?
Yeah, so like I said, invoicing, there's this popular one, invoicing. It does that for you. Yeah, it sends auto reminder for you. Like I said, you can also use Excel as well, but that will require a little bit of technicality, which like I said, you can consult us and we'll do that for you. That one you're not paying. Once you do the initial payment, you're not paying for subscription anymore. So you get it's a one-time one-time fee or one-time offer. Unlike those other ones that you have to pay probably yearly or pay monthly for you to use, yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. So I feel like if you have any other questions, please, you can put it in the WhatsApp group and the questions will be answered accordingly. Our speaker is 100% available on this group. So if there are any more questions, our time is up. We have about a few seconds to go. So if you have any more questions, please just drop it on the WhatsApp group and you will get answers to all of your questions. And like I said, slides will be shared at the end of the conference and other tools to assist us concerning this training will be sent to us as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Larry.
Thank you, Ms.
Well done, sir.
Right, and listening today.
That's great. That's really good to know. Really good to know. So everybody's coming back in now because I mean the breakout rooms are over. So that's good. Very good. Welcome back. Welcome back to everybody who is coming back in. Welcome, 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 welcome. So I'm from Igara in Akoko Edo, and we'll say Kane. So let me greet you. Welcome in my dialect. Kane, 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 Kane. So welcome, welcome. Great.
I'm just in awe of what you're doing, and thank you so much for having me on this amazing session. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing today? I always like to make it very interactive. So how are you doing?
So they're going to chat, or do you want us to unmute the mics, or just the chats?
Chat. So there's no, yeah. I'm excited. I know I've been following KK on Instagram, the excitement and everything else. And lo and behold, the day is here and it's going really, really well. So well done. So without further ado, I am here to talk about the future of education. You should be able to see my slides. Can you see my slides?
Not yet.
Okay. Give me a moment. Just give me 2 minutes, guys. We'll come up shortly. Okay. Can you see my slides now?
Not yet.
Okay. Technology, it does this.
Yes, it does. Thanks, Rita. Yes, not yet.
Just give me 1 minute, guys.
Okay. So yes. I'm personally looking forward to this session. I'm looking forward to it because, I mean, sometimes we forget the fact that even though a school is such a closed space, but we're still a very open space, right? A lot of the things that we do are birthed from what is happening in the economy around us, right? And when I say economy, it's not just the Naira and Kobo, it's even the needs of organizations. The things that we have, the way we have to respond in our classrooms is based on organizations, right? We're going into a space where technology is it right now. So if we as teachers, if we as educators, as school managers, as school founders are not in that zone where we're not connecting our students with the future, then they're always going to be at a disadvantage. And we don't want that to happen, right? And that's something that we absolutely need to look out for in this space where we currently are. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that technology, but we're here and I am ready to go. So the importance of building a future-ready school. My name is Dr. Adishola Cole. I am the CEO of TriTech Consulting Limited, a multi-award-winning project management and business analysis company. I live, breathe, eat tech. Tech is all around me. Tech is what I do, and it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. Okay, so as we know, our children are the future of our generation. And in terms of future education, it's all about equipping them for how the future might look within the next generation. Even if we look at what's happening right now, things are beginning to change. Back in the day, it was all about pen and paper, but nowadays everybody has their devices, everybody has their laptops, and for those of us that have children, a lot of them are on their devices. And that's $1 million question. Is it an advantage that we have a lot of children on our devices or not? I think for me personally, I say yes, as long as it's done within limitation. Because guess what? Pen and paper is going out the window. The old-fashioned ways, the traditional ways of doing things are going out the window. If we cast ourselves back to when we were children, we loved our teddy bears, we loved our baby dolls, we loved our prams, we loved our cuddly toys. But nowadays, again, you will see that the mindset of our children is changing, and what they want now is gadgets and apps and all of these tech things. And that's to enable them get shaped for the future, but it's also showing us that things are changing, and the children or the child that we were many years ago is different to the child that we have in this generation. So did you know that the majority of the future jobs for our children will be technology-based? Did you know that? That could be in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 15 years' time, or even 20 years' time. We're already seeing a huge focus on artificial intelligence. We're already seeing a huge focus on cybersecurity. We're already seeing a huge focus on robots. So think about what's going to happen in 20 years' time when these amazing children become adults. Did you know that 85% of the future jobs with children will have not been created as yet? So that means that we have 85% of roles not yet created, not even within our imagination. So again, let us begin to think of what's going to happen in the future. Did you know that a vast number of today's career paths are vanishing due to automation? I think that's a no-brainer. I'm sure a lot of you would agree that a lot of the jobs out there right now are being swallowed up because and through the power of automation. So again, when we're thinking about the future of our children, that is something that we definitely need to think about. And did you know that interactive electronic games are equipping our children for the future? Yes or no? Do we agree or disagree? We have Roblox. I mean, I have 3 children and I see them on Roblox. I see them on Zoom. I see them on so many gadgets. But the truth of the matter is, whether we like it or not, this is the future. Tech is the future. Digital transformation is the future. And it is absolutely critical that we train the future generation from now. So what is a key element of a future-ready school? First and foremost, innovative teaching. This is the time that we need to innovate. This is the time that we need to get our brains thinking about digitalizing a lot of the processes that we have in terms of the training, in terms of homework, in terms of role plays and all of that within the schools. Think about collaboration. Teaching children from a very, very young age is something that we need to adjust to and adopt to from now. I know a lot of schools are doing that already, and a huge well done to those of you doing that, but it's something that I think we need to do more of. Technological integration. The integration of digital tools ensures that students are proficient in using and adapting to emerging technologies. I'm sure we can all agree that when COVID came about, what happened? it was all about Zoom, and it was all about Teams. And I think that is when a lot of our children who had to be homeschooled, and including us, the parents as well, we had to hop on the trend of waking up early, logging into Zoom, getting our children ready for Zoom, and so on. Guess what? That is not going to go away. COVID has created a plethora of opportunities for our children where they can network online, where they can interact online, and where they can study online as well. Another key element of a future-ready school is the focus on soft skills. So I know there's a huge emphasis on maths and English and literature, but now we also need to focus on communication, because due to the fact of us integrating people from all over the world, and due to the fact that we want to get them ready for the future, we need to see how they communicate with people from other nations or from other countries. So it's all about communication. It's all about adaptability. How do you adapt? And it's all about emotional intelligence. When our children are sad, how do they deal with their emotions? When our children are happy, how do they deal with their emotions as well? And another key element that we need to look into is global awareness, making sure that your children from now, the future, the generation that is going to make an impact within the future, are aware of what happens all around them, not just within the UK, not just within Nigeria, but from a global perspective, understanding the cultures and the languages and the barriers and everything else is another key element that we need to adopt. Is everyone still with me? Okay. So what are the benefits? You know, if we're talking about globalization and we're talking about emotional intelligence and we're talking about technological integrations and all of these wonderful things, what is the benefit of this to a future-ready school with the children, the parents, and also the teachers? Most importantly, and number one, I would say, is it's preparing them for the future. It's interesting to see that when you speak to a lot of children nowadays and you ask them what they want to become in the future, a lot of them don't know. I mean, back in the day, we wanted to be doctors and we wanted to be nurses and we wanted to be lecturers and all of that. But the mindset is changing. And also because the world is changing as well. So the key benefit is you're preparing them for the future. If you think about how the world is going to be in 15, 20 years, think about your robots, think about tech doing things that is not even possible at this point in time. So that is a critical element of creating a future-ready school for the next generation. You're also creating graduates who are better equipped for the society, and therefore they're able to get a job again within the digital transformation era, because you've trained them, because you've equipped them, because they understand the importance of tech, because they understand the importance of using all these amazing gadgets, because they understand the importance of communication, because they understand the importance of adopting and adapting in any given environment. So that is another benefit of having a future-ready school. And also engagement and collaboration as well, similar to what KK is doing right now. You know, if you have a future-ready school, you can adapt and collaborate with other people, sharing the same vision that you have, sharing the same gift of empowerment that you have as well, and sharing the same skills and knowledge to ensure that our amazing children become something in the generation to come. So what are some of the challenges? So I know I've talked a lot about digitalization and transformation and tech and communication and building them up from now. And I know sometimes it's frustrating as a mother. I can definitely say your children are constantly on the screens, constantly on their devices. But again, I think we should look at the pros and the cons and not just see it as totally negative. Some of the key challenges of creating a future-ready school could be resource allocation. Do we have the right resources? Do we have the right technology? What about our curriculum? How do we go back to the basics and create a curriculum that fully endorses what we're looking to achieve in the future? Another key challenge could be financial constraints, the lack of a budget, and also the willing to adopt and adapt to these changes. Teacher professional development is one thing to say that we want to create a future-ready school. It is one thing to say that we want to empower our future leaders and this generation for the next generation to come. But how do we train our wonderful teachers to do this? And also our parents as well. We need to understand that not everybody is tech savvy. We need to understand that not every one of us on this call, for example, understand, what tech is all about and what digital transformation is all about. So how do we instill that confidence with our parents and teachers alike to ensure that we're instilling this knowledge within our children? A curriculum design, that could also be another challenge. How do we ensure that we create a curriculum that endorses the power and the future of this generation? How do we create a curriculum that empowers and sings from the rooftops about the benefits of ensuring our children understand what tech is all about and what digital transformation is all about from the get-go? But why is a future-ready school important? It's important because, number one, we want our children to adapt from now. We want our children to confidently log onto a computer, confidently log onto a laptop. We want them to be able to confidently understand basic tech terminologies. When I think about my growing up, when I went to Nigeria in primary school, coming back to the UK, I struggled because university back then is different to university now. Is everyone with me? There was nothing like social media. There was nothing like Instagram. Even the mobile phones that we had then were the very old ones. I struggled. We don't want that for our children right now. We want them to be able to adapt to any technological initiatives that have been created. Another importance of building a future-ready school is innovation. I've mentioned this time without number. The world is changing. We adapt to something, and as soon as we open our eyes, what's happened? Another thing has been created. Another gadget has been created. Another tool has been created. And that is just how the world is going to continue to be. So it helps us become innovative. It helps the children also become innovative as well. I've mentioned this already, preparing them for the job market. As I mentioned, 85% of the roles in the future are not here just yet. So if we cast our mind to what's going to happen in 2034 and 2030 and so on, it's mind-blowing. So why don't we start from now? Another key importance, like I've mentioned again, is the importance of soft skills, critical thinking, and problem solving. You want your children to be able to come up with initiatives and solve problems from now. And it's only right that the schools begin to adopt some of these initiatives right away. Okay, so let's have a look at some statistics, because at the end of the day, when we're talking about such a trending topic, it is important that we have some data to back this up. So according to a report from the Capabilities of Success, What's Working in EdTech Today, they surveyed 3,300 global respondents, including more than 419 in the UK. So this data is based on the UK at the moment. A lot of these surveys were made up of educational leaders, policymakers, administrators, coordinators, and teachers. So this is where it gets interesting. 64% of UK schools use technology in everyday teaching and learning practices. For me personally, I think 64% is quite low, okay, for an innovative country such as the UK. I think personally, this could be a lot higher. 55% of parents are supportive of EdTech in the classroom and remote or hybrid learning. Again, I think 55% is low, but again, it's all about ensuring that we're communicating to our parents. Do they understand the why and the how and the importance of EdTech? Do they know the why, the how, and the benefit of technology in the future for their children? How do we share that vision? How do they understand the WIFM? What's in it for them? How do we communicate to them to let them know that actually EdTech in classroom and within the educational sector is a huge advantage? And lastly, 57% of UK schools involve students in the planning of technology use in the classroom. I think that is super amazing in terms of using the initiative and getting children involved. I think a lot of you will agree that children are very, very creative. Okay, they come up with wonderful ideas. They come up with amazing strategies. They're super clever. So I think it's important that we hone on that from now. You know, get their creative juices flowing from now. Get them coming up with building wonderful apps and wonderful websites. Get their creative juices flowing and get them designing, websites and designs and everything else. And you will be amazed at what they can do. So, as a result of this increased adoption of classroom technology, UK schools are reporting, and I repeat, UK schools are reporting better outcomes for their students and teachers. 84% of schools reported enhanced student preparation in the UK, compared with 78% on average globally. Meanwhile, 76% of UK schools report having met their teaching and learning goals, compared to just 68% in the rest of the world. Data does not lie. So as we can see here, there's an improvement in student preparation, learning goals, and everything else. So there's a lot of advantages of creating a future-ready, tech-ready, and global-ready school for the future of our amazing children. Right. So what are some of the trends and challenges in education that necessitate the need for a future-ready school? As I've mentioned already, rapid technological advancements. We have Zoom at the moment, but God knows what is going to be out there in years to come. Changing learning styles, working from home, training from home. Nowadays, your children can learn anything from the comfort from their homes. So for example, in TriTech, we do coding for kids. The kids do not need to go into the classroom. All they need is a laptop, working Wi-Fi, Zoom, and they're good to go. And that is the future of education, whether we like it or not. A shift in job market demands. From my prediction and analysis, when you think about, again, casting our mindsets to when we were children, I'm sure you will all agree, we wanted to be doctors and we wanted to be nurses and we wanted to be teachers. But now this generation, they're more tech savvy. And that is why it's important that we equip them from the get-go. Only God knows what's going to happen in the future, in 5 years to come, in 10 years to come, in 15, 20 years to come. We will probably have robots all around us. How do we ensure that our children are ready and equipped for these sudden market changes? Lifelong learning and reskilling, globalization and cultural diversity. We see this happening already, don't we? Due to the fact that a lot of what we do is online, a lot of what our children do is also online. You will see them interacting. So for example, if they're playing on Roblox, you will see them interacting with people in another country. Isn't that amazing? So why don't we, again, leverage of that? Globalization, cultural diversity is something that we must adopt to in schools, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Nigeria, in any part of the world. We need to teach our children to adopt and understand other cultures. And God knows, maybe for example, those in Nigeria, I'm sure we would want them to travel abroad. And maybe those here would also want to go back home or go to Africa. So how do we ensure that we are creating one vision of ensuring that everybody understands everyone's culture? And also, you will see that traditional assessments are going out the door. Gone are the days you would have a notepad and a pen and you would, mark your scores or put your results down and everything else. You will find a lot of the time assessments are done online, particularly in universities and colleges alike. So it's important that we begin to adopt and adapt these initiatives from the get-go, whether they're in nursery, whether they're in primary. You will be surprised at how much these amazing children know. Social and emotional well-being is another trend, or I would say challenge as well. I think the power of social media has a negative impact and also a positive impact. And I know a lot of the time, we as parents and as teachers, we really need to keep an eye on what our children are doing. But then again, if we're training them from the get-go, maybe they will know what to do when they're faced with a case of cyberbullying, or maybe, someone's mocking them or laughing at them on Instagram and TikTok and everything else. So why don't we give them that exposure from now? Why don't we introduce even, social media training, little things to help them when it comes to cyberbullying, when it comes to the internet, and so on and so forth. And I think social and emotional well-being also links to the children within the future generation, understanding to accept themselves for who they are, understanding to appreciate how they look and what they look like. And again, I think that is something that we need to instill from now, so that when they're older and they go on social media, they know how to deal with challenges of the negativity side or the negative side of social media itself. Teaching or teacher professional development, again, is another trend that we really need to look into. It's one thing to say that we want this generation or the younger generation to be fully equipped for the future, but it's also important that we're supporting the teachers, and that all links into resource allocation, your budgets, and giving the teachers the time for professional development. What you don't want to do, or what we don't want to do, is come up with a curriculum where our teachers don't have a Scooby of, how to train, adapt, and adjust to these present times. So I think it starts with the teachers, if I'm honest with you. How do we empower them? How do we ensure that they understand the power and the future of tech? And once they understand it, then they can confidently train the children in the classroom or online. And it's still important, even though we are talking a lot about the future, and we're talking a lot about technology, and we're talking a lot about transformation, that we have a healthy balance. So even though we want to create a future-ready school, I would still like, our pupils and students to know how to write, know how to use pen and paper. This is something that I still do even at present day. I love to have a notepad. I love to have a pen. So it's about having a healthy balance. I think that is very, very important. So what are some of the strategies that we can use to integrate technology in teaching and learning to create a future-ready school environment? We need to have adequate infrastructure. I think this is something that is critical perhaps in third world countries. It's one thing to say that you have a vision, you have a plan, but if the technology is not adding up, if the infrastructure is not adding up, then that idea pretty much becomes futile. Professional development, I've talked about that a lot already. Virtual reality and augmented reality. We need to start getting tech in the classrooms. We need to get our children, pupils and students understanding, the beauty of virtual reality, the beauty of augmented reality from now. Introduction of gamification. It's amazing, again, what your children can do. Creating little games. So when we had our Kids for Coding that we do, it's amazing when the children present, you will be shocked at what they come up with, or maybe not shocked. Wonderful gamification games that they can play. And these gamifications can also be educative as well. So there's a way that you can create gamification that still ensures that your children are learning when they go on these games. Coding and robotics. Like I said, in 15, 20 years' time, guess what? There's going to be robots all around us. So why don't we start with coding and robotics from now? Why don't you look at instilling that or introducing that in the curriculum, or, teachers coming together and seeing how do we ensure that this is being taught in the schools, because it's something that's going to go a very long way for the children in the future. Online resources and open educational content. So we have the likes of EdTech, we have the likes of LMS. So again, these are wonderful tools where your children can log in, or where pupils can log in. They can do their assessments on there. They can do their coursework on there as well. They can do reading on there, and so on and so forth. So again, if you're someone where you're concerned that perhaps the children or the pupils are constantly on Roblox, or they're watching TV, or they're constantly on YouTube and Netflix for children, how about creating something where it has everything all in one? A time to study, a time to collaborate, a time to learn, and a time to play as well. And all of these collaborative tools can definitely help with this. Also feedback and assessment tools as well, and personalized learning platforms. So this is where you begin to create initiatives that tailor to individual needs of the future generation. So it's one thing to come up with all this information, and now it's another thing to say, well, how do we engage our stakeholders? How do we build partnerships to support the vision of a future-ready school? Who are the stakeholders? It starts from the teachers. I personally think it starts from the teachers first before it starts with the parents, because once you have the buy-in of the teachers, then it's easier to have the buy-in of the parents. So how do you ensure that your stakeholders share the same vision and are fully engaged and equipped to participate in the build of a future-ready school? First and foremost, it's important to define the vision. What is your vision? So as a teacher, as a principal, as a proprietor, you have a school or, a teaching academy. What is your vision? What is it that you're looking to achieve for the future generation? Everything is all about tech, as I've mentioned. Everything is all about robotics, as I've mentioned. Everything is about evolving with the times. And as I'm sure a lot of you will say, this generation, the children don't read as much as what they do. They're distracted a lot of the time. So how do we create a vision where we want to get the children focused for the future? How do we create a vision where we want to build tech, where we want to slowly teach them of the importance of globalization and embracing different cultures and understanding tech from a very young age? So once you have the vision, then it's important and it's easier for you to then come up with a plan on how you want to deliver. So what's in it for you? What's in it for the parents? And what's in it for the children as well? So 3 key elements that you need to look into when you're thinking about the vision of creating a future-ready school. What's in it for you? What's in it for the teachers? And what's in it for the parents and the children alike? Number 2, identifying your stakeholders. So typically your stakeholders would be the parents, teachers, and everyone that is going to support you with this initiative. Once you've identified the stakeholders, it's important to communicate with them, let them understand the why of what you're doing and the benefit of creating a future-ready school to empower the younger generation. Once you've done this, effective communication is key. When you want to create or introduce any initiative, it's important that you're effectively communicating on the reason behind doing what you're doing. Okay, we want to focus on the future. We want to focus on tech. We want to introduce robotics. We want to introduce coding and so on. Why are we doing this? What are the benefits of doing this? How is this going to affect the future? And so on and so forth. So effective communication is key. It's also important that we're involving our parents, the parents and families alike, because they are the ones that are going to sit with these amazing children at the end of the day. They are the ones that are going to come home after a 9 to 5 and make sure that the children are doing what they need to do, watching their videos, creating their designs, coding, building websites, building gamifications, and so on. So it's absolutely paramount that we involve the parents. Maybe we have meetings to get their inputs. We don't want to just enforce something. How do they feel about what you're looking to introduce? And then you empower your students as well. Because at the end of the day, empowerment is key. Once they understand the benefits of this initiative to them, to equip them for the future, then they're 10 times more likely to adjust and adapt to what you're looking to introduce. So rather than them going on Roblox and everything else, if they understand, well, actually, if you go on this gamification game, or if you build this new design and so on, it's going to help you in the future to become amazing and wonderful and have a beautiful career, then I'm sure they're more likely to adjust. And another strategy is professional development as well, which I've talked about a lot of the time. Partnerships is important as well. So you might be on this call and perhaps you're not techie inclined, or perhaps you're not digitally inclined, or perhaps you don't know anything about coding, but you want to introduce this within your schools. This is the time that you need to go out there and look for businesses that do what it is that you're not able to do. So this is where you think about partnerships. There's so many tech schools out there. There's so many coding schools out there. TriTech for one, I'm not selling, by the way, but TriTech for one, this is what we do. I see you laughing there, KK. But at the end of the day, it's all about partnerships. We cannot do this alone. You know, if we want to build a future generation of children that can adapt and are ready for the future, you cannot do this alone. You need to borrow mindsets and visions and ideas and expertise and knowledge and everything else from SMEs and specialists and everything else. Alumni involvement. So maybe you have teenagers, for example, who are doing exceedingly well. Why not bring them back into the schools to talk about what they're doing, and so on and so forth. Community events and workshops. So this is something that you can start to do from now. Have workshops, you know, how to get your children more involved in tech, how to get them building gamifications, how to get them to adapt and adjust to the future of tomorrow. Or you can have a community event and workshop on the future of tech in the next 20 years. In 20 years, I would be old and gray, but in 20 years, these babies, these toddlers, and these children are going to be teenagers. They're going to be adults. So it's something that we need to start doing from now. Feedback mechanisms. So when you're looking to introduce all these wonderful initiatives, please get feedback from the parents. How are they finding it? Has there been a change in the behaviors of these children since we've introduced these initiatives? Has there been a change in their mindset? You know, has there been a change in how they collaborate with each other? Has there been a decline of them going on YouTube and Netflix and Roblox and everything else? And most importantly, as a parent, how easy has it been for them? Recognition and appreciation as well is something that we also need to look at when we're looking at involvement and partnerships and involving the community. It is important to recognize those individuals or companies or communities that are supporting you with these initiatives. And lastly, sustainability. As I've said from the beginning of my presentation through to the end, technology is not going away. So you want to be able to create something that sticks. You want to be able to create something that is long lasting. You want to be able to create something that is sustainable. It can evolve over time, okay? Because as we know, digital transformation is constantly evolving, but you don't want to stay in the same place doing the same thing. Think about the children, think about their future, think about years to come, what they will like and what they will not like. Remember then, we had our toys and our prams and everything else. The children of this generation are not really like that. And in years to come, maybe they're not even going to like the gadgets that we have. So it's always about thinking about the future and thinking about the way forward to ensure that whatever we're looking to do to build a future-ready school is sustainable, it sticks, and most importantly, it makes an impact. And that is the end. Thank you so much.
Wow. I mean, so many learning points. I love how you talked about, I think that was maybe some of the slides towards the end, partnerships, measurement. So since you introduced these things in your school, what effect has it had on the children? Are they spending less time on their phones because these education technology that you have introduced is taking them, but is still engaging? I mean, so much. Now, if we needed to connect with TriTech, how do we go about this? I know that we will share that information in the WhatsApp group, but there might be schools here who really would, want to connect and say, you know what, can you guys do something like this for our schools?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that for me, I'm a big supporter of what you're doing. So I'm not on here to sell. I'm here to support the initiative.
We like the sale.
This younger generation. So I'm very happy to rub minds and say, how do we all come together? What are some of these things that we can introduce and so on? So Tritech Consulting Limited, we are on Instagram. Tritech, TRITEK Consulting Limited, at Tritech Consulting Limited, all one word. And we are on Instagram. You can send me a DM, and also I am on LinkedIn. My name is Dr. Adishola Cole on LinkedIn. Hit me up. I'm very happy to see how I can help and support and get these children ready for the future.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Cole. It's been it's been a really good session.
Thank you.
We would guys, does anybody have questions? Any questions for Dr. Cole? After this, we're going on break. Okay, so I know you guys have been here all morning. Well done. We will go for break after this, then come back for the very last session. Do we have any questions, or do we want to ask in the WhatsApp group?
I've got the WhatsApp group open.
Yes. Can a child of 4 years start learning coding?
I would say start from 5, 6. And this is just from lessons learned. So I put my 4-year-old son in coding, and it just wasn't it. So I would say wait till they're about 5 or 6. Definitely.
Okay. Guys, any other questions?
Why 5 or 6? I think they're just a little bit more clued on, and behavior-wise, they're able to focus a little bit more. Because remember, online training is it requires a lot of attention, doesn't it? So you'll find 4, they're a little bit fidgety. So I think 5, let's say 5, to be on the safe side. Okay. Then they fully understand.
Okay.
And newly, I think I can see here, I would say tech activities from early years. Coding for Kids is doing amazing right now with what we've just introduced in Tritech, and robotics as well. You'll be shocked at what these children learn at such a young age. Oluwatosin, no. If you've got an iPad or a phone, but just think about when it comes to the practical side of things, how do they put into practice what they've been taught?
Okay. Yes, the early years. I think that was the question that you just took.
Yeah.
Introducing in the early years.
Yeah, I did. So, get them coding from now. Get them looking at robotics from now, understanding what a robot does. Get their creative juices flowing from now, and you'll be shocked at what they can achieve.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very, very, very much, Dr. Cole. Thank you so much. I asked just once and you said, oh, absolutely. So thank you. Thank you
Anything
so much
for you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cole. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, can you shed more light on coding and robotics? Do you mean for a child doing, anyway, let me let Dr. Cole answer that.
Yeah, so we have 2 wonderful programs that we do at the moment, Coding for Kids and Robotics for Kids. And basically, we're just teaching children how to code from a young age. We're getting them coming together. So think about when they're on their Roblox, what are they doing? They're moving these things up and down. And it's again, similar to that, but from an educative point of view. So we're getting them, creating robotics and robots and learning how they interact with each other as well. And the benefit of these courses very, very quickly is that they're also interacting with other students and pupils from all over the world. And again, that's helping them with the communication skills and collaborative skills.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a good one that they have. And one thing that we can begin to look at as schools is say, how do we connect with these sort of programs in our schools, right? So of course the parents are going to pay for it, but then with this kind of organization, it raises the profile of your school to say, our kids are being trained by this organization. This is how much it's going to cost. These are all the details. So what I can do is have that conversation with Dr. Cole, and maybe she can give us all of the details so that we have it and we can think about how to add that up in the session that is coming ahead, and just looking at how they can create you know, I mean, just understanding really how we can sell it to our parents is something that is important, because it will raise the profile of our schools from what I can see. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cole. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. You've all been
all right. Thank you. Okay, so guys, it's off to break time now. So we're going to our break time now. I'm just going to share the next session after break. We have 3 sessions after break. Drum roll. We have Somi, who's going to be talking about marketing. Now, Somi, when you talk about customer experience, that's who he is. He is so good at it. He blows my mind every single time. When I have issues with some sort of customer services, I go to Somi and I'm like, Somi, please, can you explain this thing to me? And boom, he always comes, and he's coming with tools, he's coming with freebies. He's just going to really bring a lot to the table. And then we'd have Hilda as well at the afternoon session, who is going to be taking us through understanding the secret fear of parents. You know, what are these fears that parents have? How can we even connect with them? Some of the fears of parents is, will my child be good enough to compare with some other children outside of and again, Dr. Adeshola's Cole's session answers this, right? So that's why I said this her session leads us into going forward. Some of us are saying we want more students, we want more this, we want more that. We want to attract higher paying parents. How do you attract higher paying parents when you don't even seem like a school that they want to connect with, right? So this really flows directly into that, understanding the fact that these are sellable points, saying we do this in our school will make parents feel, oh, okay, so your school does this. Oh, that's fine. So those are things that we need to think about. And then Ronke Posh is going to, of course, these 3 are bringing the fire. Ronke Posh is going to be talking about the generation gap, right? The way I learned and the way my daughter reads literally everything from her iPad. And I'm like, where's your book? She's like, Mommy, it's on my iPad. And she's taking notes on her iPad. And I'm like, Savior, help me. You know, so that is the generation gap. How do you understand it? How do you respond to the needs of your parents, your students, right? Those are the things that we're going to be talking about. And that is the last session of the day. So go eat something, drink something, stretch, and then let's be back here at 2:40. We'll open up the chats again at 2:30, but we'll be back here at 2:40. All right, so we're going to end the Zoom session now and then come back at 2:30 for this sessions. All right, so we would start at 2:50, but we'll open up the room at 2:30. So thanks everyone. Go take a break. Thank you to all of the amazing speakers and to all of you. You guys are the real MVPs. We'll see you guys later. Bye for now. Bye guys. So we'll see you at 2:30. 2:30 we'll open up the chat room. Okay? Bye guys.